Yes, good afternoon, students. So, this is Swati, and we are going to begin our today's class today. So, before beginning, I hope you all are fine and healthy at your own places. Yes, you must be happy today. So, we'll be beginning with the class. So, this is not an English class, but we'll be beginning with a poem today. So, I'm going to recite the poem. You'll be listening and you'll also be reading again. So, set the table to the chair. You can hardly be aware how I suffer from the heat and from chilblains on my feet. If we took a little walk, we might have a little talk. Pray, let us take the air. Set the table to the chair. Set the chair to the table. Now you know we are not able. How foolishly you talk when you know we cannot walk. Set the table with a sigh. It can do no harm to try. I have as many legs as you. Why can't we walk on two? Yes, now you will be writing your observations in the comment section below that what do you think this whole conversation is all about. Yes, I'll give you 1 minute to do that. This is a conversation that is going on between the table and the chair. You will be telling that what actually they are talking about in the poem. Yes, very good, students, you are trying well. So we can say that in this poem the table and chair are asking to each other that they should also try. That firstly the table is saying that he is suffering from the heat. Yes, because and chilblains on the feet because he's not able to walk, but he want to walk because he's standing on the same position all the time, so that is why he's suffering. And he wanted to have a little talk also, but he's not able to do that. That is what chair is telling the table. Now you know that you are not able. So she's telling that you are foolish to think about it that way. So when you know that we cannot walk also, set the table with the sigh. Table took a deep sigh. That is what a sigh is. When we take a deep breath, it can do no harm to try. I have as many legs as you. So they are saying that they have legs, but still they are not able to walk or they are not able to talk. But as humans, we can even walk with when we have just two legs, right? They are having four, but still they are not able to do that. So what do you think we are going to study about today? Yes, I'll give you a few seconds to think about that, to guess what we are going to learn today. Yes, so we'll be knowing what we are going to learn about today. Yes, so we are told that plants are living, but they do not move like a dog or a pigeon. Have you ever thought about it? A car or a bus can move, still we consider them as non-living. How do we know that something is living? Yes. How do we know that something is living or not? You must have heard this as well, that we are told that plants are living beings, but they do not move like us. Yes, because chair and table were also discussing about that they wanted to move like us, but plants are also not able to move. Then why are we considering them in the category of living beings? Do you have any idea about it? Yes, I'll give you a few seconds. And if you talk about a car or a bus, they are able to move just like us, but still we consider them as non-living. How do you think? Why do we do that? How do we know that something is living or something is non-living? On what criteria we are differentiating the both? Do you have any idea? I'll give you 10 more seconds to think upon that. Yes, so the wait time is ending soon now. I can see your responses in the comment section that you are saying that plants are still growing even when they cannot move. You can see their movement. They are not moving from one place to another, but they can still move. How? Because they are growing. If you take pictures of a plant, in the different days in a month, then we can see the movement that it is doing, the longitudinal movement, or we can say the vertical movement is there in case of plants as well. Yes. Yes, very good, students. So a car and bus move, but they do not. Have you ever seen that a bus is of that size and it has grown bigger after 2 or 3 days? No, that does not happen, right? So growth is not there in case of non-living things. So we'll be discussing more about it. Yes, now characteristics of living things. Now one of the characteristic that we have just now discussed is that the growth movement is one of the characteristic also. Visible movement will be there. Then growth will be seen, right? We'll be looking at what other characteristics do living organisms or living things have. Just let me just shift the slide. Yes. So if we talk about non-living things, they cannot move. They cannot breathe. So what are the characteristics? They cannot breathe. I'll just mention them. Yes. So if we talk about the characteristics, then we have that they cannot grow. The non-living things basically. Non-living. Non-living things cannot grow. Yes. So what is the second point here? That they cannot breathe, whereas the living things can breathe. For example, us human beings. So what other characteristics is there? First is that they cannot grow. Then they cannot breathe as well. But if you talk about us living things, then we can breathe as well. And we can grow as well. Yes, these 2 points are ticked in case of living, and these 2 points are unticked in case of non-living. As living things can move freely, they can eat, they can walk. So they can eat, they can what else they can do? They can walk as well. Walk freely. So these 2 points are also ticked. We have 4 points now, that they can move freely, they can walk freely basically, and they can also eat, right? So in case of non-living things, they cannot grow. Can you give any example of non-living things that you have ever observed? Yes. I'll just mention them on side by side. Cannot, they can't walk, can't breathe, they can't eat, they can grow, while non-living can't grow. Yes, we have this difference in front of us now. Yes. So non-living things cannot walk, cannot breathe, cannot eat, cannot grow. But we talk about living things, then they can breathe also, they can walk also, they can eat also, then they can grow also. But non-living things cannot walk or move, as we heard in the poem also. Because in the poem, the chair and table were discussing about not being able to move freely because they wanted to move freely, right? But here we humans, animals, and plants will be coming under the category of living things. I hope now this difference is clear to you. So we'll be moving forward. Yes, now you will be checking your understanding that what you have understood till now from things that we have discussed. So the question is that dash can move freely, they can eat, they can walk. Dogs, chairs, television, or none of the above, or none of these. What should be the answer to this question? I will be giving you 10 seconds to punch your responses in the comment section below. Yes. I'll just keep the screen a bit smaller so you'll be able to look at. Yes. They can move freely, they can eat, they can walk. Yes, what should be the answer to this question? Yes, very good student. So the answer to this question will be dogs, because they can move freely, they can eat, and they can walk as well. While if you talk about the chair and television, they are not able to move, they are not able to eat, and they are not able to walk as well. So they will be included under the category of non-living beings, while dogs will be included in the category of living beings. So we will be moving forward from here now. Yes. Now, do they need food? They are growing. So do they need food? Do they show growth? What do you see? I'll be giving you 10 seconds to write your observation in the comment section below. Yes. You can write your observation in the comment section. Yes. So just like us humans, we need food for our growth. We can see plants, they also need food for their growth. Do they show growth? Yes, that you can see in the picture itself. Is the plant showing growth or not to you? In the first picture, in the initial stages, the plant is having short height, but after a few days, after a few intervals, the plant is showing a change in the height basically. So we can say movement is also there. The movement is vertical, but it will be slow, it will be taking time. So in that way we can say that they show growth as well, and they are in need of food as well, just like us humans. When we take food, our parents used to say that if you want to grow quickly and grow healthy, we need to eat food, healthy food, which should be uh, which is provided by our parents. We should eat that. But in case of plants, nobody is providing them food, but they're making their food by themselves. We have learned about the process of photosynthesis, so they are also making their own food, and they are growing, showing growth basically. So we will be moving forward with this. Yes, now we'll be discussing about plant as living. Yes. So plant shows growth, and it is so the plant shows growth and it is alive. It shows growth because of the cell formation. The cell inside the plant multiplies and form large number of new cells. Because of those new cells, plant grows. Where a sand dump also increase in size, because this is because of the adding more on that dump. Not such process takes place in sand. So if you talk about the sand, then we know that sand will grow only if we add more dump to that soil, not because this is the cells in the sand are also dividing or something like that. But we talk about plants, they are showing growth and they are alive. So there are cells, there is cell formation in the plants, and then those cells will be dividing, or we can say those cells will be multiplying in nature. They will be multiplying and they will be increasing in number, and that increase in number will be resulting in the growth of the plant basically. Yes, I hope that this is clear to you, that how do we consider plant as living and why is so. Because they are having cells in them which are dividing in number, or we can say they are increasing in number, and because of that the plant is considered in living beings, because growth can be seen in the plant. But if we talk about the sand dumps, they also increase in size, but this is because of the adding more on that dump that is done by us or some animals, but not because of the processes like multiplication of cells, right? Increase in number of cells, that does not occur there, so they are considered under non-living. So we'll be moving forward from here now. Yes, now I'll be giving you 6 to 7 seconds to give answer to this question, that is true or false statement, that non-living things grow. This now you'll be able to answer easily, because we have discussed about it already, that non-living things grow. Do they or do they not? We have talked about the sand dunes or the sand dump. And the chair and chair, the table and chair, were they growing or not? They were not, right? So that makes this statement a false statement, because non-living things do not grow. Yes. So these are some of the characteristics of living things. So we can see they have also marked here as well the characteristics of living things. We can see that they breathe, they walk, they eat, they grow. And here we can see that there is movement, there is respiration. Respiration is the process of intake and basically the absorption of the gas that we require, that is oxygen, and the release of the gas, that is carbon dioxide. Just breathing is inhaling and exhaling of air, but respiration is about when we are inhaling, we are absorbing the oxygen, and exhaling, when we are exhaling, we are releasing the carbon dioxide along with it. That is the whole process of respiration that happens in living organisms. And respiration, maybe in humans, I am describing that inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide, but in case of plants, we know that this is the opposite, because oxygen is being exhaled while carbon dioxide is being inhaled by the plants. Sensitivity, because we are not adapted to every environment that is present on earth, so we are also sensitive to to some of the particular environmental conditions that are there in nature. So sensitivity will also be there. Then growth will also be seen. Yes, we have discussed the point of growth, that growing the living organisms will be showing growth, property of growth. Reproduction, yes. So for the continuation of generation, the reproduction process will also be there in case of living beings. We have seen that from the parents, young ones are being formed. So that happens because of the process of reproduction, which is a characteristic feature of the living beings only. So if you talk about excretion as well, because living beings eat, so they do excrete as well. So excretion is all about when we remove the unwanted substances, like after absorption of food, we remove the unwanted substances back into the atmosphere, or we can say back into the nature. As humans, we also eat, but we also release the excretion into the nature again. That is basically the unwanted substances that are left after the nutrients are absorbed from the food that is taken. So if you talk about nutrition, we have discussed about the nutrition earlier as well, that nutrition is all about the intake of food and the utilization of all the nutrients that are there in that food. That is what nutrition is all about. So if we talk about living beings, then nutrition is also a characteristic feature of living beings. So we have discussed 7 of these characteristic features of living beings, that is movement, respiration, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. Yes, now I hope that this is all clear to you. So we'll be discussing next. Yes. Now there is this activity, that characteristic of living beings. Fill in to match the keyword to the definition. Nutrition, excretion these are the keywords that are given to you, and these definitions are belonging to these keywords which I have just explained in the previous slide. So you will be able to know and do it to fill in the blanks properly by now. So first I'll be reading and you will be writing the name of the keyword that belongs to this definition. So organisms takes in nutrients as raw material or energy for growth and tissue repair. So that is, yes, very good students. So that will be nutrition basically. Yes, and irreversible increase in size due to the increase in the cell number or size. Yes, we have discussed this as well. That is growth, basically irreversible increase in size. The third is the breakdown of nutrient molecules in living cells to produce energy. Yes, the breakdown of nutrient molecules in living cells to produce energy. Yes, which keyword belongs to this category? So that is the process of respiration basically. And the next one is the removal of waste and toxic material produced by metabolism in the cells. So that will be movement. Sorry, the excretion basically. The removal of waste and toxic material will be excretion. And the next is making more of the same kind of organism, that will be reproduction. Yes, very good students. An action that leads to a change of position or place of an organism or section of it, that is movement, because we are changing place, so movement will be there. So the ability to detect or respond to the external stimuli. Yes, so the answer to this will be only one keyword is left, that will be sensitivity, to react to the ability to react to the external environment basically, or the stimuli. Very good students, you have done well. So we will be moving forward. Yes, so the recap will be, what are these, you will be filling these. We have discussed about the living and non-living beings, and how we can differentiate living beings and non-livings from each other. What characteristics a living being possess? Yes, we can discuss upon that now. I have written the initial letter of the all the characteristics that are there. You will be completing it. I will be giving you 10 seconds to do that. Yes, so the answer to the first will be movement. Yes, very good students. And second will be respiration. The third will be sensitivity. Very good students. And G will be growth. R will be reproduction. And E will be excretion. And N will be, what do you think N will be? Yes, N will be nutrition. So the second question is, the change in our surroundings that make us respond to them are called as sensitivity basically. And the sensitivity that we have that make us respond to the external stimuli. So that is it with the recap. So you, for the homework, you have this activity that you will have to perform. You will be preparing a chart paper on plant and animal and the characteristics they have. You will be writing on it, and the questions that you'll have to do is that, you do plants also respond to stimuli? If yes, name them. Yes, I assure you that you'll be finding it interesting. The answer to this question will be interesting to you. So do plants also respond to the stimuli? If yes, then you will be naming them. You will differentiate the living and non-living things with examples. So on your notebooks, you will be differentiating between the living and non-living things. So thank you students for being a good support. We'll be meeting again with an interesting chapter. Yes, sorry for the disturbance students. So we'll be meeting again in the next class. So till then, thank you so much for being a good support. So we'll be moving forward with this topic in our next class. If you have any queries that you want to discuss, you can write them in the comment section below. I'll be answering to those queries very well, very soon. And so if you have any suggestion, you can give a suggestion in the comment section as well. So till then, thank you so much students.